They say that after 30 years on the air, there are no surprises left in daytime television. We've seen the walk-offs, the tears, the political firestorms that set social media ablaze before the first commercial break. But what happened recently on The View wasn't a political debate. It wasn't a scripted segment. It was a moment of raw, physical spontaneity that left the audience and the celebrity guests in a state of absolute bewilderment. At the center of it, Whoopi Goldberg, a woman who has just crossed the monumental threshold of 70 years old, an EGOT winner, a cultural titan, and a woman who has spent decades commanding the most famous table in America. And beside her, Sara Haines, the girl next door, with a sharp wit and the heart of gold. When the hand met the arm, not once but 6 times, the air in the studio changed. Was it an assault? Was it a breakdown? Or was it something far more profound? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the slap heard round the internet. We're looking at why Sara Haines didn't just apologize, but actively defended the physical contact, and what it reveals about the unbreakable, often messy bond between these two icons. Stick with us, because what Sara revealed in the aftermath will change the way you look at aging, friendship, and the price of being too real on national TV. To understand the weight of this moment, we have to talk about Whoopi at 70. For many of us watching at home, those of us who grew up with The Color Purple and Sister Act, Whoopi Goldberg isn't just a TV host. She is a mirror of our own journey. At 70, she represents a generation of women who refuse to be silenced, who have traded the need for politeness for the power of truth. But with that legendary status comes a certain expectation of decorum. You don't just touch a legend. You don't slap an EGOT winner. Yet, the relationship between Sara and Whoopi has always defied the standard rules of the workplace. While the world saw a breach of professional conduct, Sara Haines saw something else. She saw a woman she loves, a woman she respects, and a moment where words simply weren't enough to bridge the gap of their shared excitement. But as the cameras panned wide, and guest Justin Theroux sat frozen in his chair, the question wasn't just, why did she do it? It was, has the fire at the table finally gone too far? Let's look at the tape. The segment was supposed to be about Hollywood icons. Justin Theroux was describing the legendary Meryl Streep as just a normal person. Sara Haines, moved by the sentiment, turned to Whoopi, the icon sitting right next to her, and began a series of rapid-fire taps on Whoopi's arm.
1, 2, 3.
By the 4th, Whoopi's expression shifted. "Ow," she barked. But instead of pulling away, the interaction escalated. A back-and-forth exchange of slaps that felt less like a fight and more like a sibling rivalry reaching a boiling point in the middle of Sunday dinner. For the viewers at home, especially those of us who value personal space and the dignity of our peers, it was jarring. To see a 70-year-old woman being repeatedly struck, even playfully, felt like a violation of the queen of the table. The internet erupted. Headlines screamed of a physical altercation. But then, Sara Haines did something no one expected. She didn't go into PR damage control. She stepped into the light to defend the slap. When the dust settled, Sara Haines took to the Behind the Table podcast to set the record straight. Her defense was as surprising as the incident itself. She didn't blame stress. She didn't blame the heat of the moment. Instead, she offered an inspirational look at how she views her relationship with Whoopi. "I am a feeler," Sara explained. "I communicate through touch." In a world that has become increasingly digital, distant, and sterile, Sara's defense was a callback to a more visceral way of living. She described the slaps not as acts of aggression, but as love taps, a physical manifestation of an energy that words could not contain. She argued that her respect for Whoopi is so deep that she no longer sees her as a boss or a statue of an icon, but as family, And in families, we touch, we nudge, we slap each other's arms when we're laughing too hard. Sara's defense was a bold claim that true intimacy often looks messy to outsiders. But was Whoopi actually on board with this messy intimacy, or was she merely being a good sport for the cameras? This is where the story takes an inspirational turn. If Whoopi Goldberg, the woman who has survived Hollywood for 40 years, felt truly disrespected, we would know. Whoopi is not a woman who hides her displeasure. Instead of shutting Sara down, Whoopi leaned into the chaos. After the 6 slaps, when Justin Theroux asked, "Why are we all hitting each other?" Whoopi simply looked at him, paused, and said, "Ish." That one word, ish, was the bridge. It was the grace of a woman who, at 70, knows that a love tap from a friend is worth more than a polite nod from a stranger. It was a masterclass in aging with humor. Whoopi allowed the moment to be human. She allowed Sara to be too much. But there's a darker side to this story that the tabloids missed. While Sara was defending the slaps as a sign of love, the producers were behind the scenes making a decision that would change the seating chart forever. Was this the end of their proximity? We often talk about wanting authenticity from our TV hosts. We want them to be real. But when they are too real, when they cross the line of physical boundaries, we recoil. Sara Haines defended her actions as a celebration of Whoopi's humanity. She defended it as an act of joy. But as we look closer at the history of The View, we realize this isn't the first time Sara has been warned about her hands-on approach. In fact, back in 2017, Whoopi herself joked that Sara cannot keep her hands to herself. So, was this recent slap a sign of a deepening bond? Or was it the final straw for a production team worried about liability? And more importantly, what does Whoopi really think when the cameras are off? Stay with us, because in the next section, we're going to reveal the private conversation that happened in the dressing room right after that show. A conversation that led to a shocking change in the show's dynamic. You won't believe what Whoopi said to Sara when the mics were supposedly cold. Before we get to that revelation, let's talk about why this matters to us. For those of us in our 60s and 70s, we know that friendships change as we age. They become more honest. We stop pretending. We start slapping the arm because we've earned the right to be ourselves. Sara Haines' defense of her behavior wasn't just about a TV show. It was a